Hello everyone, my name is Lynn Passy. I'm 36 years old and I'm in Sydney, Australia. I remember the day that I had to drag myself up with blood covered all over my hands and my knees and my elbows. I remember the neighbors coming to my rescue, calling the police. But most of all, I remember being on my knees, begging him to stop, looking at my little boy, just 8 months old, screaming, grabbing his dad's leg. I remember the sound. I remember the motion of my brain feeling as if it was a lump of jelly in my head with the blunts, with the kicks in my stomach. The moments that he would grab me by my hair and bang it onto the floor. The carpet burns. I remember. What hurts me the most is the 2 children that I lost. I recall the moment that I was standing in the shower with blood trickling down my legs, and I thought to myself, is this really my life? Is this really what they call forever after? Is this the dream that I'd hoped for? I didn't have anyone to ask. I remember the moments that I just hoped somebody would come to my rescue. Several times I would look at myself in the mirror and I would ask myself, is this what I prayed for? In my culture, by the time you are 18, anywhere between 18 and 20, with some families, they expect you to be in a meaningful relationship where there's prospects of marriage. You dream about the day, the white wedding. You dream about the day when he finally comes and asks for your hand in marriage. And you dream about the cows. I originally come from Zimbabwe, and the man pays his bride price. We call it rora, or some countries they call it lobola. And you get excited about it because to some extent we are taught that it's a lifetime achievement for a girl to be married. I recall my grandmother calling me when I was in New Zealand, asking me, I was about 19 years old, and she kept on asking me that, when are you moving out? When are you getting married? And you feel the pressure, you feel the intensity that you have to get married. The man that I thought was going to be my protector, my confidant, my friend, asked for my hand in marriage. And I finally could pick up the phone and tell my grandmother, I remember I was 20, I found the man and he is going to marry me. Everything was going really well. the bride price was paid. I was the textbook example in my culture of a girl who does it right. Guy meets girl, they ask for your hand in marriage. He does everything right. He follows protocols through our culture. He talks to the aunties and uncles. They arrange the marriage. The bride price is paid. You have your wedding. And we moved in together. After about 3 months, that's when it started. He would just wake up and just accuse me of cheating. He would tell me that he's dreamt of me cheating on him. He would tell me all sorts of stories that I heard in high school you used to date. It would be the littlest things. It broke my heart. And at one point I thought that that's how everything was going to end. That's how my life was going to be for the rest of my life. When I was at work, at that time, after having my baby, I was working. It got to a point where one of my bosses came to me and sat me down because I had confided in her. I confided in my boss. I told her my situation because I couldn't talk to my family. How could I approach my family when I was the textbook perfect girl who got married, did all the right things, ticked all the right boxes. Now we've got a baby and everything seems so well, you know, we're the golden couple, we're the perfect example of what a young African girl and a young African man should do. We're the perfect example, we're the golden couple. They called us the golden couple in the society. And my boss asked me that, Lynn, you are going through something horrific and you don't want to talk about it. You're going through anxiety. You're rocking yourself, sitting in the closet every day, rocking yourself when he's about to come home. You are taking antidepressants. You are having scars. You are getting carpet burns. You're going through a lot. How long are you going to live in this marriage? I kept on telling her, oh, Catherine, don't worry about it. I'll be fine. I'm a trooper, you know. I'm a strong African girl. Everything will be fine. How could I possibly embarrass my family? I could not come to terms with contacting my family. I couldn't tell my aunties and my uncles because I'm an orphan. I lost all my family members, so I literally outlived my whole family. So I couldn't at any point in my life go back to my aunties and uncles and tell them that I've become the shame. I have embarrassed the family. I couldn't tell them. I couldn't possibly tell them. But one pivotal moment when my boss sat me down, she said to me, Lynn, when you look at your son, do you think he's going to thank you? Do you think he's going to look at you and say, Mommy, thank you so much for staying in a toxic relationship with Dad. I'm happy. And at that moment, I told myself that enough was enough. I weaned myself off antidepressants. I went to see my GP and I told him that, look, this is not my life. I don't think my story ends here. I felt so compelled that I had to help people. I had to help other young women out there who didn't know what to do. I started remembering what my mother used to tell me, that Lynn, in your deepest, darkest moments, always remember there is a ray of sunshine at the end. There's always hope. And always remember, no matter how this man can hurt you, no matter what he does, no matter what anybody does to you in life, no one can take the joy within within your soul. No one can break you if you're happy, if you're truly happy, genuinely happy. So I started reciting all those things that my mother used to teach me. And day by day, I started building myself up. I started building the bricks one by one. I decided to enroll myself in a course. I would study in the closet. I didn't want him to know that I was studying, because to him, to my husband at that point, it was unfair for me to progress myself. It was unfair for me to get it. It was unfair for him to see me in a situation where I'm seeking some kind of help or education or better myself or empower myself as a woman, because I had to be beneath him because I'm a woman. So I had to hide in the closet and keep on studying. I had to push through. I pushed through. I finished my courses. I got a promotion at work, and that's how my journey started. I started getting better. I started building a life for myself in my son, and I started preparing myself for the exit. I had to grieve that marriage. I had to cry every day because it was loss. I had to prepare myself mentally for what was coming my way. I had to be resilient. I had to be tolerant. I had to be patient. But I always knew that one day I would walk away. It took a lot of courage, a lot of strength to be able to walk away. It's never easy. I had to remember who I was. All the nasty things that he would tell me, how I was absolutely worthless, how I was absolutely unlovable, how much I was worth treating like crap. Those were his words. How much I was worth treating like crap. It started all coming back to me. I started remembering all those things. And I thought to myself, no, this is not my story. This is not how it ends. I dreamt of a happy life, a happy ending. And I had to rise above. I had to keep on breathing. I could not let myself be a statistic. I could not let myself down. Of course, I couldn't let my son down. I could not stay, because what kind of an example was I going to be? Our children are supposed to be little people who learn from us. So I kept on asking myself, what was I teaching my son? Was I teaching him that it's okay for a man to beat up a woman? Was I teaching my son that it's okay to grow up and be miserable? Absolutely not. So I started thinking about all these things, and I started seeing the beautiful life ahead of me. I started seeing the other options that I had. I started choosing joy. I started choosing living. I started choosing me. I had to choose myself for once. I had to put myself first for once. So today I stand here strong, bold, and happy. I stand as a resilient example in life that whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. You can survive. I'm a true testimony of what life has in store for you when you put your mind to it. And I'm a true role model to young girls out there in my culture, even in any other cultures, that look, you can do it. As long as you reach out for help, if you find yourself, and if you remember who you are and how precious you are, you will be able to make it. You can rise above and be the best version of yourself. All you have to do is to remember. You have to remember who you are. You have to remember what you're made of. And you have to remember what your worth is. In order to be able to do all these things, you have to love yourself. I had to redo everything from scratch. I had to find myself. I had to start loving myself again so that I could survive. And I did survive. I made it. I hope one day the little girls, the young women who are out there, single moms, married women, any woman out there will find the courage and strength. If you ever find yourself in the situation that I was in, you find the strength to just rise above, keep on breathing, and keep on moving.